In military organizations, the color guard refers to a detachment of soldiers assigned to the protection of regimental colors. This duty is so prestigious that the color is generally carried by a young officer, while experienced non-commissioned officers are assigned to the protection of the flag. These NCOs, accompanied sometimes by warrant officers, can be ceremonially armed with either sabres or rifles to protect the color. Color guards are generally dismounted, but there are also mounted color guard formations as well. History. As armies became trained and adopted set formations, each regiment's ability to keep its formation was potentially critical to its, and therefore its army's, success. In the chaos of battle, not least due to the amount of dust and smoke on a battlefield, soldiers needed to be able to determine where their regiment was. Flags and banners have been used by many armies in battle to serve this purpose. Regimental flags were generally awarded to a regiment by a head of state during a ceremony, and colors may be inscribed with battle honors or other symbols representing former achievements. They were therefore treated with reverence as they represented the honor and traditions of the regiment. The loss of a unit's flag was not only shameful, but losing this central point of reference could make the unit break up. So regiments tended to adopt color guards, a detachment of experienced or copyright light soldiers, to protect their colors. As a result, the capture of an enemy's standard was considered as a great feat of arms. Due to the advent of modern weapons, and subsequent changes in tactics, colors are no longer used in battle, but continue to be carried by color guards at events of formal character. Current use. Britain and the Commonwealth equals. Color guards in the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth are also composed of the same members as in the American units, but tend to have a color sergeant major behind the colors carrying a pay stick. So, the formation is as follows: color sergeants carrying rifles, ensigns, sergeant of the guard, color sergeant major behind the color. Since in the British Army, the Royal Air Force, the Royal Marines and the Royal Navy there are several types of colors, there are also color guards for these colors, and these colors and their CGs are as follows. British Army. Queen's color, Union flag. Color SGTS and ensign. State color, crimson with insignia and the honours and the royal cipher at the corners, used only for the Guards Division in ceremonies in the presence of the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh. Color SGTS and ensign. Regimental color, Union flag on the canton with the regimental arms and honours, Foot Guards regiments, Royal Regiments, Royal Irish Regiment, other regimental colours. Same as in the Queen's colour. Combined Colour Guards, Colour SGTS, Ensign, Guard Sergeant of the Colours, CSM. British Army, in the Cavalry, the Queen's Standard or Guidon and the Regimental Squadron Standard or Guidon are the equivalents to the Queen's and regimental colours. Queen's Standard, crimson with the Royal Coat of Arms, the Royal Cipher and the regimental honours. Colour SGT/Corporal of Horse, warrant officers. Regimental Squadron Standard Guidon, crimson or scarlet or other colours with the Royal Cipher, the Union Badge, regimental insignia and honours. Same as in the Queen's Standard Guidon. Combined Colour Guards, Colour Corporals Sergeants, warrant officers, Guard Corporal Sergeant of the Colours, Colours Corporal Major, Colours Sergeant Major. Colour Guards in the artillery units are technically the lead gun's crew and leader, and there are no Colour Guards in the rifle regiments, the Royal Gurkha Rifles and in the Royal Hospital in Chelsea. Royal Navy, all of the RN's Queen's colours are identical. Queen's colour, white ensign defaced with a sovereign's cipher and inscribed with honours. Ensigns and escorts. White ensign. Same as Queen's colour. Combined Colour Guards, escorts, ensigns, Guard Sergeant of the Colours, CSM. Royal Marines Queen's colour, Union Jack with the sovereign cipher and the RM emblem and motto with the Gibraltar Battle Honour. Ensigns and escorts. Regimental colour, Union Jack on the canton and dark blue with HM King George IV's cipher and the unit name, and the sovereign cipher on the other corners. Ensigns and escorts. Combined Colour Guards for the RM, escorts, ensigns, Guard Sergeant of the Colours, CSM. Royal Air Force, Queen's colour, Royal Air Force ensign with the sovereign cipher and the RAF roundel. Ensign in armed escorts. RAF ensign. Same as Queen's color. Squadron color, Air Force blue with the unit insignia and honors. Same as Queen's color. Combined color guards, color SGTS, ensigns, guard sergeant of the colors, CSM. Honors for and to the color guard. Aside from presenting arms and sabres, British and Commonwealth colour guards are expected to lower their flags to the ground in full and regular salutes in ceremonies and parades. Civilians are urged to stand at attention during such times, and soldiers are expected to salute them when not in formation. France French colour guards would always be composed of 1 ensign holding the flag of France as the national colour, 2 NCOs assisting the ensign, 3 enlisted personnel behind to guard the colour. France's military academies tend to have swords used for their colour guards. The NCO schools, other educational institutions and active units use rifles instead. United States In the military of the United States, the color guard carries the national color and other flags appropriate to its position in the chain of command. Typically these include a unit flag and a departmental flag. In addition to the flag bearers, who are positioned in the center of the color guard, there are 2 or more individuals who carry rifles and/or sabers. This is a symbol that the flag will always be protected. Composition of the U.S. color guard. In the U.S., traditionally, the unit sergeant major is responsible for the safeguarding, care, and display of the organizational colors. The sergeant major is also responsible for the selection, training, and performance of the members. The color guard consists of enlisted members and is commanded by the senior sergeant, who carries the national color and gives the necessary commands for movements and rendering honors during drill exercises or parade ceremonies. Being assigned to the color guard is considered an honor due to the fact that these individuals present and carry the symbols of their unit and country. Depending on the circumstance and subject to the orders of their commander, members may wear full dress or less formal uniforms. It is mandatory for all members of the color guard to wear headgear, for example, a garrison cap, beret, or service cap. On occasion, certain color guards can be horse-mounted. Maneuvering. The color guard is formed and marched in one rank at close interval. Since the national colors must always be in the position of honor on the right, the color guard must execute a special movement to reverse direction. It does not execute rear march, nor does it execute about face. Rather, it performs a maneuver derived from the standard counter-column command, generally known as countermarch or colors reverse march, in order to keep the precedence of flags in order. Other drill movements performed by the color guard include presenting arms, left and right wheel marches, eyes right, casing uncasing the colors, and fixing-unfixing bayonets. Rendering honors. By the color guard The color guard renders honors when the national anthem is played or sung, when passing in review during a parade, or in certain other circumstances. In these cases, the unit and departmental flags salute by dipping. However, with the exception of a response to a naval salute, the United States national flag renders no salute. This is enshrined in the United States Flag Code and U.S. law. To the color guard In the U.S. military, individuals or units passing or being passed by uncased colors render honors when outdoors. Individuals who are not part of any formation begin the salute when the colors are 6 paces distant and hold it until they have passed 6 paces beyond the colors. Civilians are expected to stand at the position of attention with their right hand placed over their heart for the same period, and the salute applies to the uniformed organizations as well. Since recently, veterans are expected to salute the colors too, like their military counterparts including personnel not in uniform. Other countries The Swedish military rank of Förkurrency NRIK was originally intended for the holder of the company flag. This duty was so prestigious that an officer was necessary to carry it out, but it required no officer training. Today, it is a regular officer rank. The Dutch armed forces have similar ranks of Veandrig and Cornet. References. Notes FM 22-5, Section 9. Paragraph 43, FM 22-5, Section 9, Paragraph 45, Morrow, Joyce E. Schoolmaker, Peter K. FM 3-21.5 Drill and Ceremonies. Center of Military History. United States Army. P. K3. Retrieved October 28, 2014. FM 22-5, Section 9, Paragraph 43. External links Continental Color Guam, 1R6, YSMP 55L2QNFJ 521BN7QXP7YY3RJF 57SF7ENWY10LJ8-2J02D5V7 Guard of the Old Guard, MCOP 5060.20 U.S. Marine Corps Drill and Ceremonies Massachusetts, 1R6, YSMP 55L2QNFJ 521BN7QXP7YY3RJF 57SF7ENWY10LJ8-2J02D5V7 Newell. Chapter 7, U.S. Air Force Honor G1R6 YSMP 55L2QNFJ 521BN7QXP7YY3RJF 57SF7ENWY10LJ8-2J02D5V7 Guard, U.S. Coast Guard Ceremon 1R6 YSMP 55L2QNFJ 521BN7QXP7YY3RJF 57SF7ENWY10LJ8-2J02D5V7 Giles Honor Guard, U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary 11th District Southern Region, Division 12, Flotilla 12. 04 Color Guard. C=, Trooping the Color, Honor Guard, Change of Command.